Shane Theory in 4th, and Scott Crump in 5th. Most of those gentlemen there have been up front for the majority of the event. As I stated, this is the final regular season event for the Truck Series. What that entails is essentially there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be thankful they got in, and a lot of people that are going to look back and wish they had changed up their strategy going into this regular season. As we have about, looks like six drivers here entering the day's event, all within 10 points. 3 were going to make it in, and 3 were not. Looks like the majority of them are still in the event, so nothing to state. Some of the drivers are looking to try to work their way back up there. Alec Baldwin's is one back at 18. Desperate. Otherwise, other than that, we have a fairly good battle here. It looks like the Shane Theory truck, the FRN trucks have been pretty decent tonight. All 3 drivers have been up in the top 5. He's been riding that high line, trying to keep, it looks like, Scott Crump behind him, and doing a decent job at that. Scott Crump has been trying to get that low lane working, and with little success, he's diving in. As you see him get underneath the 38 there, trying desperately to get around him, because the end of the stage is only in 3 laps, so not so much worried about those tires in this late stage of the run, because once that caution comes out for end of the stage, he's going to be coming back in to get some fresh set of rubbers right in front of Shane Theory and his run from Safford. He came into this event, looks like, needing a very good run. I think he was just out 1 point, so he's having a fantastic event so far. Looking to try to point his way in, just trying to be steady, gain those stage points where he can, and set him up to a good position. So that's a good run for him. Other drivers are back there in points are obviously starting to be a little bit concerned with looks like one spot going to be wrapped up with him gaining so many stage points. As we come around to take, looks like the final lap of the stage. Once again, Chad Frankenfield got himself a 2.7 lead in this first stage. He seems to be able to have a very good short and long run truck. But as we see there, oh, we got a hit! Looks like Scott Crump both got into each other. It looked like Scott Crump maybe tried to cut down below and get underneath Shane Theory to make one last diving effort, but unfortunately, looks like he just chopped off the nose of Joshua Adams there. Didn't go completely around, but oof, yeah, that was close, and that was the end of the stage. So maybe he can come in and get that fixed. It looks like the passing's been a little bit difficult. He's been stuck behind Shane Theory for quite a few laps, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to want to try to get all that fixed up, or is he going to try to go for more of a track position. But he's already wrapped up the regular season points championship, so I don't think he's too concerned about it. But yeah, obviously not what he was looking for. Had a good run going on early in this event. As all the trucks seem to be going down pit road now, they're all going to get fresh set of tires. It looks like a drop-off was around second and a half, 2 seconds. So tire wear was fairly key to this event so far. So yeah, we're going to see who's going to be able to play the effect of Kyle Larson's team and see if they can work themselves a couple positions on pit road. Looks like Chad Frankenfield, obviously being up front, is going to have the advantage in this. He might. Yep, he did. Yeah, he just cleared and got back into the lead. Top Horn in second, was able to keep his second place, and then looks like third, Bronson Stafford once again. Very good run for him going on early on. Shane Theory in fourth, and Joshua Adams opted not to fix the front end damage. He's got quite a bit on the front nose there. I can see his tire, his bumper. So it is kind of like a short track here, so I'm not sure how much aerodynamics is going to play in a factor, but any damage is bad, especially whenever it wasn't your fault to begin with. So I'm sure he's not too happy about that whole incident with Scott Crump. Again, Scott Crump is aggressive, so he's won the regular season and probably just came into the night. Just need to try to see if he can gain some more wins and gain more points that way, because they're not really on the line for him tonight. But they're going to line them back up. So this is the end of the stages. From here on out, if there's no caution, we'll be green all the way to the end. So far, it's been a fairly clean race. Not too many drivers out, only one driver out. It looks like Rish back there in 22nd was the first driver out. I'm not sure if it was due to incident, but other than that, every other driver that entered today's event is still on the lead lap. So fairly clean racing. I've seen a few spins early on before the broadcast went live. It looked like a couple of those drivers just got a little loose coming out, especially on the start. So it's going to be interesting to watch the start of the race because it seems like the truck is a little loose with fresh tires. So we're going to see, obviously, if that's going to have any adverse effect. Again, some of these drivers are going to be a little bit more aggressive towards the end of this because this is the cutoff. It's time to go. A couple of those drivers back there, like I said, that are in that need to go phase is obviously Alec Bobbins. He's going to be out right now. Looks like if he doesn't work his way up forward. Another one is going to be. I don't see Hunter Smith in the event. He was one of those drivers that was on the cutoff line. So looks like that might be one driver that might go home if he's not in today's event. Another one is looks like Harrison Talon. He scored himself some stage points, so he's helped his endeavor. He was 7 points above the cutoff line, so I think he just needs to make sure he finished tonight's event to be able to work his way into the regular season. Drivers that really need to get themselves up there. Obviously, Sam Batwell was one of those that was just out with minus 1 point going into the day's event. Didn't score any stage points, but he's ahead of Alec Baldwin's 2 positions up from Alex, and that would essentially tie them going into it. So then it would go to the best finish for the driver. So those drivers there at the beginning of the season at Daytona were able to help themselves to get them all into a very good finish to start off the season. And for the most part, they kind of disappeared. Some of them racing up front, but not a single one of them was able to get a win after that. They're hoping to change that for their team, obviously. Had a great run to start off, but it looks like Shane Therian was able to get around his teammate there, Tom Bourne, worked himself up to second. Biggest thing is going to be trying to stay up with Chad. Chad has been very stout tonight, able to get out to a decent lead and just able to extend it over a long run. So are they going to be able to stay with him this run? It's going to be what's going to be on the mind and the goal of some of these drivers. Again, we have now, looks like 68 or 62 laps left to go into the event. So in this small of a track, I doubt there'll be any green flag pit stops if there's no cautions. It's going to be here to the end. So who saves, who decides to push their tires early on. Last week we saw the 10 of Jared Rexing opt to try to push his truck out to a big lead, not worry about tire saving too much, and it paid off. They would get out to a win for that here, first two-time victor. Chad Frankenfield here, not able to get away from Shane Therian. Shane Therian able to say just about maybe 5 car lengths back from him. Chad's usually had a bigger lead than that for most of this event, so interesting to see if maybe Chad's just trying to save something early on here, or if Shane Therian is deciding that back positions here. We got a good battle back there in 9th position. Side by side. Drivers that are right on the cut line. Tyler Dixon and Harrison Talon. Both of those drivers are right now above the cutoff line. Just desperately trying to make sure that they're good on points. So good these drivers. As you see, another driver starting to work his way back. It was one of those that I said that needed to try to get up there. One of those is Corey Abbott. He has a little bit of side damage, so might have smacked the wall in that 7 truck there. But able to run pretty well in the 10th position. Just trying to hold back Shane Ryan. And Brent Jones having a very good run. Oh, and the 9 gets loose. See, that's what we were talking about there. Is most of the spin outs have been just coming out of turn 4, having all that turned into the steering wheel, and then it just gives out. But able to keep it straight and keep going. He's going to lose a couple positions. That's going to put Brent Jones up into the 11th position, having, like I said, once again, having a fantastic night right behind him. He's going to have Michael Goodman. Michael Goodman's a little too far out in points, I believe. He's going to need a win to try to get himself in. So he's hoping for some maybe late race chaos. Other drivers in here. Looks like we might be able to have Ethan Farrell join us here for the broadcast. Ethan joined us for tonight.
Yeah, how we doing, Gerald?
Oh, I'm glad someone's up here to go over everything. We've had a little bit of a hectic night. Missed most of the beginning, but it looks like we're here for the end of the race to enjoy some of the craziness that Elite has at the end of these races. So interesting to see if this is a cutoff race for these drivers for the regular season to see who's going to make it in and who's not.
Yeah, definitely. I knew you would want nobody other than me to keep you company up here, so I figured I'd step in. But yeah, it's from what I'm seeing so far, it's been a pretty good show. Chad Frankenfield kind of, I think, us as competitors, we know Chad Frankenfield, and this is definitely the type of race that I think fits his style. He's usually pretty good at the shorter, flatter tracks like this, and I think we haven't had too crazy long of runs yet from what I've seen, so we'll have to wait around and see if he can keep up the pace he's been putting down so far.
Yeah, he's led from the start to this point now, and again he's just been able to get away from the craziness, and as much as I that this track, it can have some pretty long runs. Saving tires is a big key factor to this. So far, it's been a clean event. Chad's just been able to grow that lead, so we'll see if Shane Therian, one of those drivers that I stated earlier in the season that I had picked to be one of the top running drivers, but has yet to get a win. He's trying to hopefully change that before the race starts. He's already locked his way in, so he's had some pretty good runs, obviously, to that effect, but trying to catch up to the non-playoff driver, Chad Frankenfield, and see if he can score himself some extra points going into the playoff season here.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a good thing. I mean, in the real world, you'd hear fans kind of complain about the Kyle Busch's racing down, but I mean, you got a guy with the experience that Frankenfield has. I mean, it really does make these guys better in their series that they race. So I think it's an overall gain for these guys to kind of see what Chad's doing up there, and it does nothing but helps you learn how to get faster and faster and try to pace with him here. And we'll see. I mean, Shane Therian's definitely been no slouch this season, so he can find something here after kind of watching the back bumper of that 15 all race, and he could end up creeping up there at the end of this.
Yeah, it might also be that, and it might also be that Chad Frankenfield's league owner. I don't think any of us are going to be able to say anything different. I don't think it really matters if we don't want him in the event or not. When you kind of run and own the thing, it's you kind of make the rules. So, but I will say though, as league owner, he gets black flags just like the rest of us whenever he goes a little too aggressive, and that's one thing about Chad is he is super aggressive. So again, he's just here for the win. That doesn't mean he's going to lay over. Doesn't mean that he's going to let a key playoff driver lock themselves in. He wants to win just as much as the rest of these guys. So it's gonna. Yeah, but one thing that we had stated earlier, that lead that he's starting to build on Shane Therian is starting to grow as the time goes on.
Yeah, he's really growing that, but so is Tom Holland. He's really picking up the pace. So I don't know, maybe if Therian's kind of falling off a little bit here, or what's going on. But you see that 31 truck makes a pretty effortless pass to 38 in the second spot.
Well, as you would expect from teammates, again, both of those are FRN drivers. Tom Horn definitely has the longest, pushing Chad Frankenfield hard to get him run off his tires as we're coming to about 44 laps to go. So there's still quite a few laps left to drive. So you'd hope he wouldn't burn it off. It definitely looks like the 38 is slipping and sliding and having to having to run that high line just to have the grip.
Yeah, and I know we had that little incident between the 95 and 90, and those guys are still neck and neck with each other here, fighting for the fifth spot. Both of them kind of got roughed up a little bit, but it's going to kind of be a story to watch as we get further to the end of this thing. See if there's any hard feelings between these two guys.
Well, now that Scott Crump is pretty much at this point locked himself in, neither one of them have much to lose. But you definitely don't want hard tempers to go into the next race, because the next race is going to be started at the playoffs. And Scott Crump is obviously, going to have to realize that he's going to have to, if he's going to try to pass the 95 this time, he's going to have to give plenty of leeway in space. He definitely doesn't want to get any more contact and possibly create an enemy going into the chase here. So both these drivers obviously got into each other. Both of them have damage. It may play effect into how the car handles. Obviously, in the long run, it's probably going to be better for them, just for the mere fact that it's going to be more tire sliding than aerodynamics to play into the factor of the speed of these trucks. But nice dive bomb. And, the 95 is going to do a switchback on him and get back underneath him. Take what I said away. Scott Crump is not going to... He's definitely not going to play. Oh, they're going to squeeze each other coming out of the turn. Oh, no, we said it. Oh, and it happened. Oh, both of those drivers. Are we going to see some retaliation? The 61 might want to just back it. He might want to back out of this. Yeah, you're in between two drivers with very messed up trucks now.
Oh, yeah, man. If I'm the 61, I want nothing to do with what I'm seeing right there. Props to him. He got by both of them, but even after that, these guys are still right on top of each other. Here comes the 54 right.
Yeah, last time the incident between them was just between the two trucks. There was no wall involved. This time, a wall played into a big factor in how much damage these trucks took, and that hurt both of their front noses. I feel like they're both now going to just slide to the back of the back. As you see the 54 easily get around the 90 of Scott Crump. Obviously have big speed differential now with the straightaways going, but Tyler Dixon, he's probably just happy that he's going to be able to pick off a few more positions from this. So
yeah, definitely, and we kind of saw the 95 was kind of getting tight, sliding up off of turn 2, and Crump said, hey, I felt like you didn't get me earlier, so I could have backed out and kind of let you slide up, but that's just not how it played out. So these guys, they gotta be careful to kind of stay locked in, because the more you and I know it too. I mean, down there, you can kind of get in the heat of the moment, but they just keep sliding, keep beating up their fenders. It's just gonna get worse and worse for them.
I just don't know why you can do it though. I mean, Joshua Adams isn't racing for points. I mean, you just put yourself in a position that now Joshua Adams feels like he owes you one. And with the chase coming up, that's the last thing you want to have to worry about. You already had damage. I just don't think that was what Scott Crump should have been worrying about, was to get around him. He just needed to just finish tonight's race and start off as the points leader going into the chase and trying to get a good, good mindset going from there. And this is just going to now put him in a position that is going to have something for him as far as revenge or anything. Again, I don't know if I would have put myself in that position if I was him going forward. But well, what's done is done, and both of those trucks are done. So we'll go from that. But one driver that's having a heck of a battle is right behind him, catching up, is Harrison Talon. One of those drivers that had a good run tonight. So far has scored some stage points. He's just looking to gain a couple positions and just stay where he's at. I think he'll easily make it into the chase from where he's at. So with the stage points he's gained and where he's running in position wise, so we'll have to keep an eye going forward to see if he can just finish off this long good run.
Is it 12? Is it 12 chase spots or 14?
Only 12. All separated by 10 points.
My goodness.
3 out, 3 in. One of those that was obviously on the right there on the cusp was Harrison Talon, 7 points up. Alec Boffins was only 2 points going in, and Hunter Smith was only 1 point in. I don't see Hunter Smith in the event though.
so that'll be a big
That'll
hit.
eliminate one. Sam Batwell, he is one position out, or one point out. And it was Bronson Stafford, who's had a fantastic night and scored a ton of stage points and continues to have a good run up there. He was only 2 points out. And then good old Brent Jones, who, kind of the underdog going into this season, who was running very well, had a couple bad luck races the last few, is only 3 points out. So it's close. I mean,
I see Tom Bourne 4 back, but he had a win. So is he locked, or is he having to points his way in as well? Do you know?
Tom Bourne is locked in from his Daytona victory. So the drivers that we're going to have to keep an eye on with 30 laps left to go is obviously going to be Sam Batwell. The next one will be Alec Baldwin's, Brent Jones, and I think that's it. I think
Bronson Stafford.
I think Bronson Stafford's going to probably be locked in at this point. He was in the top 5 for both stages. Gained a bunch of positions. Yeah, gained a ton of positions with only 21 trucks on the lead lap. Unless he has a bad finish, this is green till the end. I feel like he's in a good position. I think we're gonna have one position be battled out right now between Brent Jones, Alec Baldwin's, and Sam Batwell. They're all battling for one position, it looks like right now, and none of them scored a stage point.
And this is where I am enjoying sitting up here and not down in the racetrack, because that is way too much to think about, and that could really be a big distraction. I mean, you and I have been in these situations where, I mean, you get caught up thinking about all the points and everything, and that can really take away from the good solid run that you need to have to not have to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And again, with these damaged trucks now falling back, is when are these drivers going to pass them? Because, I mean, both Joshua Adams and Scott Crump are way underpowered right now. And right now, we got one of those playoff drivers hoping to pass him in Brent Jones, who's having a fantastic night, running right now in 12th place, trying to get the 11th position. He is, again, racing against Alec Baldwin's, who coming into this event was 5 points above him. Right now, he's 2 positions in front of him. He passes Scott Crump, Corey Abbott, and Joshua Adams, who's fallen back, and Alec Baldwin doesn't. I'm pretty sure that means Brent Jones is in, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that.
Coming to 25 to go, too. You know, if he is able to claw past these guys, he's going to say, okay, you guys pick up the pace, don't let Alec pass you, because then that kind of erases the points he's gaining. But also following Brent Jones through there is Michael Woodruff. He's a little ways off the cutoff, but I mean, he's not mathematically eliminated from this. You know,
Not mathematically.
He's gonna need a pretty big swing to have it. He's also put together a good run for himself.
He's going to need a lot of angry drivers at the end of the race to get himself up there, because he coming into the event with 17 points out, with only 20 cars now on the lead lap. It's looking like he's almost in a must-win situation. So it's like I said, it's been a crazy event going forward. Again, apologize to everyone if we missed a halfway point forward, but at least we got to the good part and got to see the juicy drama unfold in front of us.
Yeah, and to kind of follow up on that, I snuck my way into the driver communication. I did hear a little bit of chirping back and forth between the 95 and the 90, so I can confirm that those guys are not pleased with each other after the contact that they've had on multiple different occasions so far this race.
Yeah, we kind of figured that it was going to be the situation. Both those drivers are very, very hard front runners in most events. So for both of them to end the night's race with a lot of damage and falling back, both of those drivers are not too pleased with their nights. But one thing to note, Alex Baldwin got passed by Jared Rexing, and Goodman got around to, I believe, his teammate Brent Jones. So both teammates passed their drivers that are fighting for position. You'd think teammates would be communicating with each other to stay behind each other. So yeah, it's just an interesting event that kind of teammates didn't try to help out fellow teammates to get points.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot to unpack here with all the different point scenarios that we might not be able to have available for you all right off the bat, but this is going to get exciting for these guys.
And for anyone that's asking what's going up front, not much. Just Chad
Yeah.
Frankfield off to a 2-second lead over Chad Thornquist, who has worked himself into second, having a decent run. He's had a few decent runs. He's already won an event earlier in the season. Tom Bourne is now about 4.5 seconds behind the leader. Shane Therian is right behind him. Not much going in behind there. Where the drama is playing out is obviously where we're stating for this final season, to see who's going to clock themselves into the last remaining spot.
And we're seeing, you know, Thornquist running very stable lap times with Frankenfield. You know, it's like every other lap he gains just a couple hundredths of a second, but I mean, at this point in the race, you know, Chad coming around to 27 or 17 to go. I mean, it's just too little too late. Thornquist is going to have to find something better to be able to reel in Frankenfield. And right now, he's just not quite running enough of a pace to get there.
No, but we do have a good battle for second. It looks like Shane Therian and 31 of Tom Bourne have been battling it out for that third position. Again, both of those drivers are locked in, so they're just trying to see who's going to be talking to us at the end of the night at this point.
Yeah, and Therian looked to be struggling a little bit there off of 2. He's got some right front damage, and I really saw him have a big wiggle out of 2 there. So, but with the good run he's put together tonight, he's just got to keep it straight and bring this thing on home and in a top 5 position where he's sitting.
Well, we are coming to 15 laps to go. This is where we're playing out for the final spot. It looks like Harrison Talon, as they run right now, will easily lock himself in. One of those drivers that was on the outside looking in was, it looks like it was Bronson Stafford. He's easily going to work himself in with the points he's gained in the stages. One driver that didn't show up was Hunter Smith. He's not in today's event, so he's out of the running for the regular season, trying to work himself in. So it comes down to 3 drivers: Alec Baldwin's, Brent Jones, and Sam Batwell. Right now, as it stands, Alec Baldwin's is in by 1 point over Brent Jones. And it just changed as Brent Jones has gotten around.
Yeah, he's made a ton of ground. Look at Brent Jones cutting through that pack of trucks, and Alec is not quite following suit the way he needs to. This is heating up here for these guys.
Well, as it stands right now, the drivers, they're tied. They're tied right now. And Brent Jones is looking at, well, the 8 car that's getting around now is a lap down. That's Joshua Fred. He's 2 laps down, so that's not a point. That's not a position that he's worried about. The drivers that he's in front of right now is Corey Abbott, Jared Rexing, which is a teammate to Alec Baldwin, who's desperately trying to get up there to help his teammate by passing Brent Jones. And then we got Dustin Durham between the two. A ill-handling car of Scott Crump continues to fall back. We got Alec Baldwin's. And Alec Baldwin's only has about 4 or 5 car links in front of Sam Batwell, who's catching up to him. So
And I tell you what, Brent Jones is clicking off about a 1/10 of a second gain on Josh Adams up ahead of him, who's really struggling with that damage from the contact earlier. So, you know, Brent Jones could be looking to break that tie and gain an extra spot. He can get up there past Adams.
both of those drivers would be extremely happy with the playoffs. I know for sure that that Brent Jones, he came into the night's event down good, start to the season, and then just some bad luck running into it at the end to knock him out. I'm sure he's, regardless of what happens, he has to be proud with the effort he's put up tonight, because he's running in 11th. He's gaining on 10th place. He's gaining on a known winner, Joshua Adams, to try to pass position. So for Brent Jones, this is a statement run. He is showing that he wants this, and this is what's exciting. This is what the playoffs was meant. It was this drama, this late season, mid-season drama of drivers going beyond their comfort to try to get positions that they normally wouldn't have been able to obtain and drive to try to get themselves into a position to make it into the playoffs, put themselves in these opportunities that they get to show off for the live fans here to enjoy. This is exactly what you want coming to the end of the season.
100%. You know, tonight, like you said, I mean, regardless of if you make it or not, I mean, this is a special run for Brent Jones. He's just one of the good guys down there. He's always hard on himself.
Let's go back there to 16th because a big shakeup here. We got Sam Atwell trying to pass Alec Baldwins. This will be essentially to see who's going to make it in. Alec Baldwins or Brent Jones. This position right here as they come. Oh, he's pushing
the fence.
You don't think he knows he needs this position? He's pushing it hard right now as he's just lost the position. He's going to try to get that outside lane going. This is it. This is to make it in or not. That 47 truck in front of him. Oh, and it's in!
Rex like it's going to stay free, and he did spin off the racing surface.
That's gonna give the point back over to Alex. He now, to make it in, only needs to stay in front of this 05 truck. The 05 truck. Oh, underneath him. He has to stay in front of him as we come down to 4 laps, coming to 3 laps to go. If he stays in front of them, there's nothing Brent Jones can do other than pass someone in front of him, which he is catching. Brent Jones is also catching.
He's there. He's just a couple truck lengths off of Joshua Adams.
We need 2 screens at this point. We need 2 screens because Brent Jones is pushing hard to catch Joshua Adams. But the battle that's really shaping up is obviously between that 5 and 05. Just a 0 separation.
Taking another look. He's having trouble. Alec is just fast enough on the top. I think the 05 is faster right now, but it's just so hard for him to make a run on the bottom. And we got 3 laps to go. This is getting crazy, you know?
3 laps to go. Again, you're not missing anything. Chad Freakwell. Oh, the 05 puts him to the wall. He gets to the wall. The 07 is one of those drivers with new tires seems to lap down. That won't matter. So now it's going to come down.
Now all
obviously,
eyes are on Brent Jones.
Brent Jones has to make this position. He's looking underneath Joshua Adams. He has to pass Joshua Adams to make it into. It's in his hands. This is what you want as a driver. It's in your hands. He's underneath the 95 as they're going to be coming to the final lap.
Here we go, coming to the white. Brent Jones knows exactly what he needs to do here, and what would he be willing to do?
He's gonna have to push it. He's got to get that position if he wants to make his way in. He's known to be a very clean driver. This is gonna be hard for him. He gets plenty of space. Oh, an ill handling 95 might make the difference here.
Do it.
They're gonna come to the first
run. The 95's gonna get
him. The 95 beats the 89 to the finish line, and I believe that makes Brent Jones and Alec Baldwins.
Alec Baldwins got passed by. He gets called it up.
Yeah, that was the lap car. It looks like they will be tied going into the points position, which I think will opt to the best finish. And I think the best finish will go down to Alec Baldwins. Obviously, we'll have to wait and find out about the final point standings. But heartbreak. 1/10 is what it meant.
Man.
Between making the chase and being out for Brent Jones. What an effort from the 89 there. What an effort.
Just so you fans at home know, I mean, this is unofficial here, but I mean, it's looking to us like it is going to be a tie for that last spot, and we're going to have to wait and see who's going to end up advancing. But I mean, back up front, Chad Frankenfield, I mean, an absolutely dominating race, and he's going to do his victory burnouts here. But man, I tell you what, that was a lot of drama to just
Yeah.
kind of sprung out of nowhere in the last 20 laps there.
We didn't count Sam Boutwell in, but he finished only one position behind Alec Baldwin's. Only one position behind in points. Only -1 at the finish of the race. Again, three drivers separated by one position, I believe.
Plus,
Absolutely.
plus on the flip side of that, I think who
Into the chase with a very dominant run and a very good way to finish off the regular season. Makes his way in. He finishes in fifth. Looks like Shane Ryan is going to finish in sixth. Tyler Dixon in seventh. Harrison Talon, one of those drivers that also makes his way in with a strong run tonight, in eighth. Michael Goodman works his way up into ninth position. And to round it out, Joshua Adams gets that 10th position just over Brent Jones in 11th. Just to go down the rest of the finishing order here, Dustin Durr was in 12th. Corey Abbott was in 13th. Scott Crump fell back to 14th with that damage. Sam Batwell up to 15th. Alec Baldwin holds on and finishes 16th in front of Hunter Firestone in 17th. Jared Rexing is going to be the first car one lap down in 18th. Michael Hozak is in 19th. Joshua Fred is in 20th. Kyle Walgren was in 21st. And Rish will wrap up the field in 22nd. Thank you for joining that, Ethan. That was that
Yeah,
was
absolutely, man. It's that was quite the show, I tell you what.
I
And it looks like we got some interviews waiting here.
yeah, we're gonna pull up Tom Bourne, our third place driver, our Daytona winner. Tom Bourne, do you got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, great finish in third position. You look like you had a little bit stronger long run car than your teammates there, but after finishing first at Daytona, and then kind of had a rough season going from there. Was able to come back here for a third place finish right before the end, or right at the end of the season here. How does this play out for you? Is this kind of like a little bit of a booster to you going into the chase, knowing that hey, I finally got something going right and something on track, and trying to go from here to try to get into the final four at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Daytona was, the Daytona one was great, and then we've had fast trucks all season. The whole team has. It's just my luck has not been there at all, and unfortunately, got caught up in some wrecks that weren't my doing, and made some dumb mistakes. But at the end of the day, you know what? I'm going playoff racing, and that's all that matters. And yeah, I think these last two races, both solid top tens. This one a top five. It's going to really try and boost me and along with the other team, the teammates, to make a push for at least one of us to get in the final four.
Absolutely, Ethan. Did you have anything you wanted to go over?
Yeah, and we saw you had that good long run pace, and you're able to get by your teammate there late on in the run. But do you think maybe if you had one more restart, you might have had anything for the Chads up there?
Uh, it's hard to say. I mean, the 92, I really didn't get to see much of his short run pace, just because on lap three he self spun, but good recovery for him. I could hang with Frankenfield for maybe at most 10 laps, but then he'd really start dapping me. I don't know what he was doing. I was driving the truck. Excuse me. I was driving the truck just as good as him. I mean, just as hard as him, and he just kept pulling away. I'm like, what do I have to do this? One of the team guys were in the chat trying to tell me what he was doing. I'm like, I'm doing exactly what he's doing, and he's pulling away. So I don't know, man. Definitely, it would have gotten wild on a restart, but you know what? I'd rather have a solid third place than chalk it up to luck on a restart any day.
Well, congratulations on the third place and going forward into the chase here. And hopefully, you could be able to wrap up a few more positions here at the end of the season. Get to talk to us a little bit more. But while you're here, do you want to give out some shout outs? I know you guys usually in that Flat Out Racing Network group. You guys usually have a few of them to go over.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. I know, you guys had some technical difficulties, but powered through. Keep up the good work. Always a pleasure talking to you guys. G Fuel, Player One Coffee, Sky Motorsports for putting together awesome, training and basically just awesome trucks all season long. My girlfriend Kira, she's always watching. I know she's listening right now. She's finally awake for one, so I love you. And my friend Sydney and family watching. And yeah, overall, just basically let's go playoff racing.
Well, congratulations on the third, and again, hopefully we get to talk to you a little later on. Other than that, you have yourself a wonderful night.
Yeah, thanks guys. Gerald, I hope I'm up here again because I know how much you like talking to a driver of a 31. So
Yeah, well, it's just kind of interesting to see a 31 run so well again. So it's kind of odd for me anymore.
yeah, well, someone's got to do it.
There you go. That's Tom Bourne for you, folks. Let's see if we can get our second place driver, Thornquist, up in here. He had a late race time. Chad, what was the? I mean, what was the difficulty tonight?
Very high. I mean, through the roof. Holy crap. I honestly thought that the bottom lane would be faster than the top for passing, considering that one lane off of the bottom is where most of the guys were in 3 and 4 for their qualifying. But then as the race went on, bigger fuel loads, which means more traction and downforce to the truck. So I honestly had no idea that top lane was going to be faster. That early spin, I tried to cut down under Talon and just overdrove it myself. And how do I put it? That top lane is really good if you're trying to pass someone, but if you're out there in clean air, then you want to try and run that bottom seam.
Yeah,
And
well, we
Chad,
saw. Go ahead, Ethan.
Yeah,
oh,
you guys
hey,
are tripping over each
sorry.
other.
Chad, so we earlier in the season, you picked up that win at Texas, and you've been pretty comfortably set up in this chase grid. But for the first chase race, it looks like we're going to Vegas. So what do you think you can carry over from Texas to Vegas? It being a somewhat similar track there to start out the chase.
Absolutely nothing. No, but in all honesty, I feel like that's going to be another multi-groove track, similar shape to Iowa. So it's going to be a lot close quarters pack racing, considering that there's such steep banking, and Texas was kind of like IndyCar style, pretty much. So I'm expecting more of the same from that. Just gotta bide my time, save my tires like I did with this race, and get a good finish. I want to win, but I'm not really expecting to win Vegas. I just want to have a good points run. That way, I have a bit of a buffer so I can advance into the 4.
Well, Chad, we saw early on in the season you had a good run to the beginning of it, battling with Scott Crump early on for the regular season points. So we know that you have really good speed going into this. Obviously, second place is a big boost into your efforts going forward. So, is there a goal set in mind for the chase? And then, if you want to give us what your goals are, and then just give us a wrap up of who you got to thank.
Goals, there's 2 of them. 1, make it to the championship 4. 2, win the championship if I can, which I probably won't. But that's besides the point. And people I got to thank Frankenfield for having this series for years. And actually, I had a lot of fun tonight with it. So glad to be a part of this. And then Scott Crump, all the guys at White Lightning for working with me and being aligned to Inferno.
Thank you,
Oh, hell
Chad.
yeah.
Thank you, Chad. Again, it's good to have you up here, and good finish. Next time, hopefully, we can be talking to you from Victory Lane going forward for the chase. But other than that, you have yourself a wonderful night and rest up for a tough end of tough start of the playoffs.
Yep, thank you.
All right, now we've got Chad Frankenfield. We'll talk to the driver, Chad Frankenfield. He will be telling us on his victory, and then we'll be talking to the league admin, Chad Frankenfield, to figure out this point situation just to wrap up to make sure before we go off air tonight to find out exactly who's in and who's out. But before we start all that, let's go ahead and we didn't get to really show him too much up front because he had such a big lead that there was nothing much to go on for there. He just had a dominant run. I don't know if he led every lap,
He
but
did.
he did
Led flag to flag.
flag to flag. We haven't had that in a long time in Elite, that kind of dominance. So, fantastic run from Chad Frankfield. Qualified on pole, led every single lap for tonight's event, won both stages. Uh, did you think you accomplished everything you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's what your goal. The goal is, I run these trucks first off because the trucks are the most fun to drive on here. I feel like iRacing is got.
You don't have to act like Paul Menard. You just won the event and led every single lap. So I hope you have a little bit more enthusiasm than that coming into here. Again, we haven't seen a dominant event like this from a driver for quite some time. Again, it looked like passing was difficult, but you didn't have much difficulties being out front. Was it just you had the speed and you were just trying to keep a certain distance in front of a driver? It seemed like you were playing like this in the beginning run. You let them get so close and then work your way out a little farther forward. Was there a strategy to that, or was there just those drivers just pushing it and you just had a set lap time that you were just trying to click off?
I really was just trying to just hit my marks and just focus forward. A lot of times I think I get caught up. Um, and that's part of why I like running the trucks because it helps me run. Because I don't run official races ever. All I run is these. So for me, it's about not having to worry about, okay, maybe that guy gained a tenth of me that lap, but I need to just stick to what I'm doing every lap, and the race will come to me, and that's naturally what I've been trying to do better with. Um, but yeah, I mean, for the first time I think in a while I've felt like I had the best long run speed out of anybody. So um, for me, if I could get past lap, that 4 or 5 laps after the restart, I felt like I was going to be able to just keep the lead.
You have anything for him, Ethan?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you showed up here, and obviously you're a defending champion of the Truck Series, but you think just getting the track time and experience out here, any sort of things you can carry over, because you're a chase contender in the Cup and Xfinity Series. Do you think just the extra track time will kind of be nice to keep you fresh to go fight for some championships here in our other series?
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. Like I've said this before, and I'm guilty of it a lot, but I really do feel like this season has been a little bit of a resurgence for me speed wise. I think I've led more laps this season since maybe, I don't know, probably before we started to take off as a league. Um, I just haven't been able to recently. I've just been focusing on putting myself in a position to be there for the last lap and not where I was at before. Um, and because of it, I've also haven't really been involved in an accident in a while because of like causing an accident, because I've just been smart and tried to be patient, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, this just as much as anybody else. I mean, our series are so competitive. I mean, especially Xfinity and Cup. I mean, it's basically 1A and 1B with talent, and um, every single point matters, and you just have to be willing to grind out an 8th place finish that night, or a 9th place finish, or um, Gerald's the same way. I mean, he's won 2 championships from grinding out not the rounds and just having good championship races. I mean, that's the way you have to be. Um, but yeah, I mean, it builds momentum. It builds everything you need to do to move forward. I mean, I'm happy tomorrow we're off. When I told my wife we were off tomorrow, she, you know, gave me a fist bump because our Mondays have been packed lately. So um, it's going to be fun. Obviously Wednesday, the next gen Cup cars at Talladega. That's going to be interesting as always. But a lot of guys are on the bubble. A lot of guys are, myself included. I think I'm 19 up, so it's not going to be too safe. But um, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun, and I think this truck series is awesome. I want to give a shout out because I have the points up. Um, some guys that made the chase that typically you wouldn't think about. Tyler Dixon is in the chase for the trucks. Um, Harrison Talon made the Truck Series chase again. Brent Jones is in the chase.
He did get it.
He did.
He
Well,
made
I
it
was
in
Wow,
looking.
that's
It
11th.
looks like
awesome.
Yep.
Ryan Barbarelli was one of those drivers that I thought he was pretty safe up in points, but he was only plus 18, and he didn't. I don't see him
Yeah,
in the finishing order. It looks
he
like
didn't
he's
show up today, and
Ah.
this race was, as always, our regular season finales, just so we have an idea what the points are that you can't drop the final race. So, yeah, he's out. Belvans and Beltwell tied, and Belvans has a 7th place finish, and Beltwell has an 8th, and Belvans gets the tiebreaker. So, his his finish at Knoxville is basically what got him in the chase. So, it's
wow.
gonna be a battle. I think Crump is probably the guy to beat. But sometimes I think he's his own worst enemy. So hopefully he can just keep calm and just do what he needs to do to get to that championship race and avoids all the chaos.
Do we have the official uh, point standings up yet?
Yeah, so your chasers are Crump, Tyrion, Rexing, Thornquist, Ryan, Dixon, Bourne, Stafford, Abbott, Talon, Jones, and Belvans. And the trucks was designed originally, for this. And it's really awesome to see guys like this are going to make it to go. They're going to run the Xfinity next year, and there's some truck guys in there, this year they're going to run in open cars and Cup next year, and that's the way it was supposed to be. And I think it's awesome that we're seeing that. I mean, we're going to see some guys in this truck chase that don't know, have never ran a playoff banner in Elite before, so it's going to be cool to see that, and anything can happen. So.
Well, if you keep coming out and dominating events, I think we might have like a Kyle Busch rule where you're only allowed to do 5 races or something. Because
Yeah, well, I can't run the chase
dominating
races,
events like
so
that,
uh,
yeah, that's true.
so I can't run the chase races now. Next year, I'll be we're allowing past champions to run them just because way the chase format changes next year. But I want to thank Dave for broadcasting. You guys obviously jumped in the booth, but Dave, I was gonna broadcast tonight, and I just didn't think I was gonna be ready to do this, and he stepped up, and it seems like everything went really smoothly. So I appreciate you guys. I want to thank Tyler Dixon, White Lightning Racing. I want to thank Days Gone By Vintage Apparel. And then, like I said, thank you guys for broadcasting.
Well, absolutely, Chad. We appreciate you having these events and having leagues that we can be able to join and really create a special bond between drivers and racers. And obviously, we're excited. Both me and Ethan up here broadcasting. People like Brent Jones. We've been racing Brent Jones for a couple years now. You get to know these drivers, like all the other drivers here, where you can learn, and this is what this league is about. It's just, especially the truck series, learning, gaining experience, be able to eventually race with the rest of us big boys and get dominated by Ethan Burrell and Richmond or someone. So usually Richmond. Usually Richmond, you dominate those types of events. But yeah, like I said, that this is I'm from first race to now I've been shown up for broadcasting for all of them, and I gotta say it's been a very enjoyable experience to see some of these drivers from a different point of view, and it's definitely been a entertaining event so far.
Yeah, like I said, it's awesome. One of my buddies, actually Josh Freed, I've been going to Eagles games with him for a couple of years, and I found out he had iRacing last year. And I said, dude, you got to run our truck series. He's like, oh, I'm not ready for that. I'm like, dude, that's what the truck series is for. It's for guys to develop and get better. And Alexander Van Desant is a perfect example. He never drove stock cars in here before. He ran our truck series last year and got better. And now I think he's second or third in points right now going into Talladega. So it's fun. The trucks are always fun to drive. And next season we add Formula One on Sundays, which is going to be awesome too, because we're going to have some nights where guys are going to run F1 cars and then have a 5 or 10 minute break and then hop in a truck. So it'll be interesting.
Well, that was Chad Frankenfield, both the admin and the race winner for tonight's event. Like you said, thank you to Dave Huckle. He got the stream run. We had a little technical difficulties early on. Again, we apologize that to all the sponsors and to all the people joining us now. We appreciate you joining us and at least enjoying the at least back half of the race, and it was full of excitement, full of entertaining. And thank you, Ethan Burrell, for jumping up here, give me someone to go back and forth on, and we had I had some fun watching all that.
Oh yeah, it was a good time, man. It was a really good race, and I'm really excited to see how the chase unfolds here, starting at Las Vegas next week. It's gonna be a good time.
Well, don't hesitate to come up to the broadcast booth. Regular season champion or regular season as we go into the Chase Championship here, and we'll be back at it. I don't know if we're next week or the following week, but all I know was I'm sure it's going to be full of excitement. So just stay tuned. Like he said, Monday is not going to have any race.
Should be some crazy intense chase racing, so that'll be a good show.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to ask me to help you push for the lead, but man, 31 has been needing a victory for a long time, so I think I might be thinking about my own best interest for that race. But uh, great race. The Elite Old Testament Firearm Truck Series here is always entertaining. Obviously, the Sonesta 150. It was more like 75 for the broadcast booth, but regardless, it was an entertaining race dominated by Chad Frankenfield, but obviously the storyline event for the ones that didn't. Other than that, this is Gerald Campbell, Ethan Burrell, and Dave Huckleberry. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful